is we have other forms of pollution. Now, the air visual, this is real-time air quality information platform, is saying that Ghana's air quality is currently 49.6 times more than the WHO annual air quality guide value. Now, this is the site. It is iqair.com. Please, you can check it yourself. They attribute the high concentration of pollution in Accra's atmosphere to human activity, right? Take a look at this. Okay, let me expand it for you. Ghana is there, number 5. As at yesterday, they had classified our atmosphere as hazardous. They're hazardous, meaning that we were over 301 and more. What's happened now, because it is real time, Ghana has dropped to the 6th position now in terms of the rankings on healthy environment or the air pollution. 171. And now take a look at this. The color bars at the top represent the classification. So 171 is classified now as unhealthy. So we have moved from hazardous to unhealthy. Obviously, it explains itself. It's unhealthy. What we are breathing in is unhealthy air. And we are far away from good. We are inhaling particles from the air, including dust, soot, dirt, smoke, and liquid droplets with a diameter of about 2.5% micrometers or less. That's what they are saying. In fact, when you look at this other part of the graph, they're talking about areas where this is happening, right? So I'll tell you, Medina and some other areas, they mention it. We'll get the details. Stay with us, because the Environmental Protection Agency is joining us. The Ghana Meteorological Agency is joining us to talk about this, because it's about you and I, the air we are breathing. And what you thought was Hamatan is not just a change in weather, but the polluted air that we're breathing. So we'll get an interpretation, but we've just got some worrying news earlier today, just 3 hours ago, of another earthquake in Turkey. So we want to establish, that's what you see on the screen there. This is a video that popped out not too long ago. So you see it, just about 8 p.m. Turkey time. They are 2 hours ahead of us, right? So it's over, beyond midnight now, as we speak. But this is what happened, right? And you would shortly see the impact of the earthquake. This is what happened. This would say this 2 hours to 3 hours. Yes, that's what you see there. So this video was taken when the earthquake occurred just about some 3 to 4 hours ago. So let's do this quickly. Yeah, let's go to Turkey right now. Let's go to Turkey right now, shall we? Dr. Mubarak Mubik is a leader of the Ghanaian community in Ankara, Turkey. He is joining us on Zoom right now. Doc, thank you. Thank you so much for staying up. I know it's really, really late where you are. Tell us what you know so far, or what the Turkish media has been reporting about the earthquake that occurred some few hours ago.
Yes, good evening to all of you and your viewers. We, unfortunately, the same area where the earthquake was experienced, I think about 2 weeks approximately. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, exactly 2 weeks ago. Hatay, where our brother Christian Achu, unfortunately lost his life. The same city. Yes, at about 8:04 thereabout p.m. in the evening. I mean, in Ghana it is still today, but here we will say yesterday, because It is past 12 o'clock here now. So around 8:04, there was 6.4 earthquake magnitude, earthquake. And 3 minutes later, actually, it was also a twin earthquake. 3 minutes later, there was also 5.8 earthquake. The same area, the same city, but two different locations. And so far, 213 people have been injured. Don't forget that actually the rescue operation today had finished in all the other areas that were affected by the earlier earthquake, except for these two cities, Hatay and another city called Kahramanmaraş. So rescue workers were still there doing their work. We still have buildings that are, in a very poor condition, just about to fall and all of that. Yeah. So I do not have details on the condition under which the people were injured, but 213 people have been injured, and 3 people have lost their lives. And I understand 2 people are trapped, and the rescue workers are doing their best to rescue them as we speak right now. Yeah, so
I see.
it was also a twin earthquake, 6.4, and then 3 minutes later we had a 5.8 magnitude, all happening in the same city, Hatay, where we lost our brother.
I see.
Christian Nacho, sadly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 2 earthquakes, 6.4, and from what you're saying, a 5.8, all happening concurrently in this same area. But can you tell us the extent of devastation as we speak, from what you have monitored on the report so far?
In terms of buildings, already the buildings there have been affected by the earlier earthquake. There is no report as we speak right now, but of course, 3 human lives have been lost.
Okay.
By the earthquake, by the latest strike. 3 people have lost their lives. 213 people so far are injured and have been taken to the hospital. And 2 people are right now trapped, and the rescuers are trying to rescue them as we speak now. Yeah.
That's quite sad, really. But are you able to tell us if you know of whether Ghanaians were living in these 2 other cities who have now, we understand from what you're saying, have been hit by these latest earthquakes?
Luckily enough for us, we don't have Ghanaians right now. The city of Hatay, frankly, almost all the persons there have been evacuated. I mean, not Ghanaians, almost the Turkish and all of that, because the city is terribly affected by the, earlier earthquake. So the houses and all of that, people are told not to go there. Yes, so in the city of Hatay, thankfully, we don't have any Ghanaian right now as we speak, but there are nearby cities like Adana.
Right.
I have received calls from some Ghanaian students, I think about 7 of them. They also experienced the aftershocks of this latest strike. And of course, as you can imagine, psychologically, they are a bit traumatized, and they want to go home. Okay, they called me if there's any arrangement that can be put in place to move them from that place. So I have tried to reach the embassy, but it's late. The deputy ambassador is late here.
True.
And so I've sent him a message. Hopefully, morning he will get back to me, because the ambassador herself, I understand, she went with the body of Christian Nacho to Ghana.
Right.
So he is here acting in her absence. So I've sent him the message. I am sure early morning he'll get back to me. I've asked them to compile the list and send to me, and then we'll see what we'll do, when the day breaks. Yeah, but they are safe, except that, of course, they are traumatized. They are scared because they don't know what will happen. They are not in the affected area, but they experience the aftershock. Yeah.
I see. And for the Ghanaians, you're talking about some of them now, the students, you're making preparations to evacuate them, but those who were evacuated earlier, how are they doing? They were sent to you in Ankara and other places.
They are doing fine. They are doing fine. They are here in Ankara, like I said, and those in Istanbul, they have settled. There's no problem. Even tomorrow, we'll be meeting with some of them. One of them only reported of experiencing some sore throats. This is normal because the weather is very cold. And considering that they had to stay in the cold over there for a couple of days because of the earthquake and all of that, yeah, it's a normal effect of the situation they experienced in those unfortunate times. So, yeah, tomorrow we will attend to him. I've told him we'll make arrangement to take him to nearby health facilities to be attended to and then all of that. Apart from that, they are all fine. There's no problem. Everything is okay.
Let's
Of
see.
course, we continue to give them counseling because, the trauma still stays. Some of them complain that when they are sitting, they feel like the earth is shaking, even though it's not shaking. I mean, these are normal after effects, of the traumatic experience that they have gone through. So we continue to counsel them and give them the necessary social support they need to navigate through this difficult time. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
they are fine.
Dr. Mbarek, finally, and this is coming at a time when we're all processing the news of the death of Christian Achu, and you are there, and I'm sure this must be difficult for you. I mean, coming to terms with 2 earthquakes in one night.
Yes. Obviously difficult, very difficult. And I can understand the students also in Adana because the earlier earthquake they also experienced the, so and because they're a bit closer to epicenter. So they experienced the aftershock to move them at the time, but they told us that okay, the students said they were fine. They wanted to stay in their hostel. There was no problem there. Nothing has been, their hostel hasn't been affected. The school is okay. So they just experienced the aftershock. So so when they said to problem, then but now with these 2 other strikes, they are calling for help. They want to leave the place at least to a place where they can have some stability in their lives for some time.
Right.
Yeah, until the situation returns to normalcy. Yeah, so it's difficult for all of us.
I can imagine
Just
this.
when you think you are done with the earlier one,
Earlier one.
this one also comes, and you have to deal with other challenges. Already we are dealing with those here in Ankara, trying to help them get back to normal. And then with this one also coming, obviously, is stressful, but we will go through it. Yeah.
Indeed. And we want to wish you well on this. And our best wishes. Dr. Mohammed Mubarak, thank you. Thank you so much for staying up and talking to us from Turkey. Dr. Mohammed Mubarak is a leader of the Ghanaian community in Ankara in Turkey. The news we have just received, 2 earthquakes in Turkey. We understand 6.4, 5.8 magnitude, 3 people confirmed dead, and over 200 people injured. We understand 2 people have been trapped as well. The fortunate news, well, is that no Ghanaian is involved in this. They've all been evacuated. But we have eyes on this. Stay with us. We will be back shortly after this quick break on Ghana Tonight. There's more to come. Stay with us.
Welcome to Magdan Aviation. Our world-class terminal located at the Kotoka International Airport, is a fixed-base operation that offers total aviation services in Ghana's private sector space. McDan Aviation offers convenient access to a wide variety of destinations. Just sit at the comfort of your homes or offices and book a flight to any country of your choice, and a luxurious car will be available to pick you up to the FBO, where all arrangements including hotel bookings, transport services, among others, will be made available even in the country of destination. The FBO features an elegant lobby, business center, and a catering area to make your flight experience a memorable one. We have a very spacious terminal which houses 3 modern private jets and a helicopter for your tours, intercity transport, air ambulance services, cash carriage, and a bullion movement. Wherever you need to travel, McDan Aviation has got you. Safety is a hallmark at McDan. From our dedicated customer service team to the flight staff, every employee puts the safety and security of our clients first. We are here to make conducting business across the world easy and convenient.
Hello! Have you heard of the Franco air condition, specially made to fit the Ghanaian weather? It has authentic capabilities, which is the original sizes ranging from the 1.5 horsepower, 2.0 horsepower, and the 2.5 horsepower. So if you are looking for an air condition to fit your homes, offices, schools, hotels, apartments, churches, it's Franco Trading Enterprise. For bulk purchases, look no further than Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise, the home of quality air conditioning.
We are on a mission promoting access to quality health and education through the power of our media space. Since 2014, we have made great impact. TV3 mission now drives Ghana's quest to break barriers and provide access to inclusive and quality girls' education, together with women's maternal health services. Our mission to address the needs of the socially excluded has won the admiration of many. Indeed, TV3 Mission gets you the results. Mission is live on TV3 News 360 every Saturday and Sunday. Supported by Star Ghana Foundation, with thanks to Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office.
Ghana's high living cost is frustrating many individuals.
Now you can't save anything.
Average expenditure on food, water, transportation and rent is wiping out meager incomes, and the young, the old are feeling the pinch.
Most of us do depend on these betting companies for our daily means.
Small businesses are folding up.
Everything was moving on well till we started buying cooking oil for 1,000 Ghana.
Imagine paying rent of 1,000 Ghana cedis per month.
With the country battling extreme inflation, a budget deficit and debt distress, many are barely living from hand to mouth.
So the people that are coming out of school, one, we can't be employing the government sector because it's already choked. Two, the businesses that are supposed to also employ the people, they are going through turbulent times.
Komla Adum in TV3's latest feature, Surviving Ghana's Economic Meltdown, highlights some of the living experiences of individuals.
When you don't have what it takes to employ them, then they will be a huge national security threat.
Surviving Ghana's Economic Meltdown, Wednesday, February 22 at 9 p.m. on TV3 and across all social media platforms.
Welcome back to Ghana Tonight. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279 as always, all across the world on 3news.com. Now, tension is brewing in some parts of the northeast region as some irate youth hit the streets to protest attempts by the military to arrest a rival Boko Nap Alhaji Saidu Abagri, who was recently unskinned by the Nairi Na Abdullahi Mahami Sheriga. Now, the youth in Wale Wale and Nalerugu, that's what you see on the screen there. They blocked various entry points into the town, burning lorry ties. That's what you see on the screen right now, to register their displeasure. And they also, from the reports we monitored, vandalized the NPP office in the area, and the tires that were burned and roads that were blocked is what you see there on the screen, and that's quite worrying, the developments as we have it. And this is something that we understand that has generated some concern, especially among the watchers of the space and what's happening, especially with the issues relating to the right interventions. Bear in mind, about a week ago, just about sometime last week, Wednesday, the government issued a statement signed by Kojo Nkrumah directing the security agency there in the area to arrest anyone who introduces himself or puts himself up as the newly enskinned Bokona. Let's go on to Zoom now. And Dr. Victor Doke is the security consultant and lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Dr. Doke, thank you so much for joining us. Also, we have a sociologist, Dr. Ebenezer Ayenso. He's a historian. He's a head of Department, General Studies, Heritage Christian College and Masman. But until recently, he was a senior research fellow at the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time on Ghana Tonight. Let me start off with you, Dr. Doke. From the security perspective, a lot has happened today. What's your own assessment of the reports we've been picking about the reaction of the youth in Narelugu to what they suspected was an attempt by the military to arrest the person whom they had reportedly skinned as Bokuna?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, the event, the 15th February event has changed the dynamics with regards to the chieftaincy conflict in Boko. Now, my assessment with regards to the security situation is, now, first of all, it's getting worse in a sense that the military wanting to effect the arrest and the youth having to stop the military stems or makes it very serious. Now, we all know the state and its agencies, which the military is one, has the authority to effect the mandate with regards to arrest, and the youth having their line of action, be it a protest or vehemently denying access for these military men to effect the arrest, has changed the conflict dynamically. And if care is not taken, we're going to have a situation where we have the youth versus the military in armed combat, which we do not want to. So we have to take precaution. In the event where the state, through the military, insists on effecting the arrest, we could use what we call the mediator. Now, a neutral mediator to come in between, so that the military will not be directly linked to making arrests or so forth. But a mediator would have to come in to calm the nerves of these youths. Then we can find a way forward.
I see. But this neutral mediator that you talk about, who fits that status that you are recommending? Because in times past, we've seen the clergy, we've seen traditional leaders, eminent persons in society, all taking up this neutral arbiter or mediator position that you're talking about. In fact, in other areas, as Antino Tumfo said, to at a point as well, who, in your estimation, fits this neutral mediator status?
Well, we could have, as you rightly mentioned, for example, the Asantini coming in, and we know his role in the Dagon crisis. Now, with this particular mediator, has to be very neutral, one that the parties uphold and regard in high esteem. It could be from the civil society organizations or prominent, eminent persons. And in conflict resolution, we call them the track actors. They fall into the track 1 actors, and then the CSO fall into track 2 actors. So we need to have a very prominent person or organization leading the forefront of mediations, where this person will be regarded and lead mediations. Otherwise, we'll get nowhere.
Dr. Hold on a bit for me, and let me bring you in here as well, Dr. Ebenezer Ayensu. I mean, there's been a number of interventions to try and deal with this Boko situation, but from the sociological perspective, what's your assessment of the interventions to address this rather escalating situation in Boko?
Okay, thank you very much. In my opinion, I think we've not, the stakeholders have not brought in the element of parallels, in the sense that what triggered the confusion in Boko was in existence in other pre-colonial areas. I cited a number of times, cited my own area in Ekwapim, where until the 1730s, the need to get a second group to help beat off Akwamu emerged. Eventually, the Gwang community looked to their neighbors at Achimabwakwa. They came down, and that problem was solved. At the end of the day, we call them liberators, the Gwang community, and then those who are wrongly referred to as Akwamu remnants, resolve and evolve an institution, the chieftaincy institution, that gave birth to a Ekwapim state as it is now. Yes, in between time, these people, the Gwangs, have been fighting Achimabwakwa, but at the end of the day, peace is restored. The recent one was the 1994 conflict. And I believe if we use traditional dispute resolution methods, we can solve this. The area, the Mampusi and the Kusasi have been in existence, have lived together for a very long time. Obviously, intermarriages have taken place. And as the gentleman who spoke ahead of me indicated, we can get eminent people from this, the products of those intermarriages, to play a leading role to resolve the problem. Besides using the example that I've cited, that where we have had similar situations, we could use the methods they use to settle the conflicts.
But we've seen, for instance, these traditional leaders, eminent persons roped in over the period in looking for the solution or the right mediation intervention in solving this. So if we have to go on the same path, how should the traditional leaders or these eminent persons approach the new dynamics of this Boko situation that we're seeing?
I believe they should look out for, as I've indicated already, products from the intermarriages. And then we have those from both sides who want peace to prevail. They have to be identified. And then they've had friends. I mean, people who have gone there to work with, who have lived with them for a very long time. And there are some non-indigenous, Mampusi or Kusasi, living in Boko, who are on good terms with both parties. They could also use them.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I mean, from some security analysts earlier raised concerns about the government's directive, Dr. Doke, to the security to arrest anyone who holds himself as the new Bokona. That was in a statement that Kojo Nkrumah signed sometime last Wednesday. So the youth were already on edge to prevent this from happening. So from your own analysis, what exactly could have been done differently instead of, in this statement, directing the security to arrest anybody, which obviously got the youth alert today?
Well, if we say we would want to fault the government, we have to look at it in two ways. Now, first of all, did they receive intel that there was going to be an escapement? And if they did, what happened to the final stages of the intel for them not to take reactive responses? But the reaction was a bit late than we all expected. Because if they had gotten the intel earlier on, then they would have acted in response and stopped the event. Now, I would not say I fault them entirely, but the aspect where intel has to be given appropriately and speedily for the actions to be taken, we need to look at how quick intel has to get to these appropriate agencies for them to act within their time frame, and then prevent any kind of clashes between Kusasi and Maputi.
I see, but how can government prove its neutrality and become that neutral element in this? Because already, as you indicated, government is being blamed, or fingers are being pointed at government for taking sides in this latest development.
It's very true. From the two sides, so they are suspecting bias from the side of the government. Now, how the government can play out a neutral position is to let its agency, the National Peace Council, take the forefront. At least the National Peace Council has gained some prominence when it comes to this conflict. Now, the government needs to resource the National Peace Council so that the National Peace Council can take its full responsibility, the goal for which it was established in line with conflict resolution and conflict prevention. In that way, the government would just have to sit back and direct activities, taking reports and then suggest ways. But letting the National Peace Council take a very focal point and lead role is very essential. Otherwise, we'll have a situation whereby the National Peace Council will always come in late and they will get nowhere because they will not have to, they wouldn't be in a position to be abreast with the current situations on the ground. And we'll have to ensure that when the National Peace Council comes in, then we can have the CSOs also giving technical guidance, capacity building to the National Peace Council. Then it will now relate to the local community representative, that's a BIPC, the Boku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee. Together we have these stakeholders. We can now have a neutral mediator come in, sit down with all these stakeholders, and we can get somewhere. With the sustained engagement, then mediations can now roll out.
I see. Dr. Ayesu, so the proposal for this neutral arbiter to step in, how then do you marry that with the sociological approach to finding the right intervention to dealing with this problem?
Yes, I think I agree with my colleague. And the first step, we should go back to history. During the era of the late Kutu Achampong, he made sure that the upper region, the regional commissioner at least, was not an indigene from the region. So he was talking about intel. If the assemblies, the MCs, DCs there are not from the area, the possibility of getting the signals and directing the signals directly to government will be there. But if they are from there, they might be in a way tainted by way of their connection, ethnic connection, friendship, and whatever. Having said that, obviously there will be there's a need for someone to play the role that my friend had suggested. And I strongly believe that some attempt should be made to get eminent citizens from the area to work hand in hand strongly with the National Peace Council. Of course, government will relax, will be at the background to provide the necessary logistics and whatever. And then we shouldn't also forget that in all this, there are people who are from the area, but hardly go there. They provide admission, who encourage the youth to do what they are doing right now. Now, this is what the statement is. And believe you me, most of this youth will not even understand the statement issue. there was or there are some people who interpreted, or let me put it, misinterpreted the instructions and then incited them. The money they used to buy whatever they are using to block and whatever, where did this come from? So these people should also be looked for. And they are in Accra, they are in the big cities. And then not looking for them to arrest them, but looking for them to be conscientized that what you people are doing every now and then, Boku is in the news. Are you not ashamed of it? This must be made known to them. They are there. They are in Accra. Accra in the big cities. They provide ammunition and everything. And at the end of the day, if government fails to act, they will blame government. Government acts, and then I hear both sides are blaming government. So who is who? And who is doing what?
Dr. Ebenezer Ayeso, thank you for your time. In fact, we've been showing videos of what's been happening today in Boko, where some of the property that have been destroyed. Dr. Ebenezer Ayeso, thank you so much. Is a historian. He's a head of department, General Studies, Heritage Christian College, and Masterman, until recently, senior research fellow at the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon. Thank you for your analysis of this from the historical perspective and also how the sociological approach can help in addressing the happenings in Boko. But talk about pollution. We're dealing with not only water pollution, but also air pollution now, as many of you have seen, and a lot of you have shown symptoms of some respiratory infections. And there's also, according to the Ghana Medical Association, we have reported cases of increased cough as well. But the QS Air Visual, a real-time air quality information platform, is saying that Ghana's air quality is currently 49.6 times the World Health Organization's annual air quality guideline value. And we'll put that on the screen shortly. Now, the site attributes to the high concentration of the levels of pollution. Now, from what we're gathering, they've seen particles such as dust, soot, dirt, smoke, and liquid droplets with a diameter of 2.5 micrometers or less. It is actually believed that the high concentration of these elements in the air has been compounded by the resurgence of the Harmattan as a result of regional dust storms pushing into southern Ghana. Now we'll have the Environmental Protection Agency giving us a quick analysis of what they have actually picked up so far. But Felicity Ahafianyo is a chief forecaster at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. She's joining us on Zoom. Felicity, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight. First of all, what's the Ghana that's the Meteorological Agencies Association, that's your own analysis of this particular development in especially Accra, the atmosphere and the concentration of these pollution particles?
Thank you very much. For our Harmattan season over the West African sub-region, not from November and ends in February, and at times it extends into the early part of March. We have it in variations in terms of intensity, so every year comes with differences. So every year it starts in November and ends in March most of the time. But the difference that we are having is that when it gets to the coastal belt, that is where we have a little bit of a challenge, where it's not too visible because of the fluctuations that happens in the characteristics or the features that comes with it. We normally have a moisture influx that normally comes towards the ending of January and then February, where we get cloudy situations and possible showers. This year we had the rain in January. We had some rain also in February. before we are having another best of the Harmattan season over the entire West African sub-region. So for Harmattan season is normal, but when it comes to the impact that we are getting along the coast, it's not too normal. We are having some abnormalities in it. I'm saying this in the sense that we have, I think, 2004 or so, we had a similar situation where we have Harmattan fully in February along over the entire country, where Greater Accra, Central, Western, and part of Volta region were all affected massively, like what we are having. But I currently have access to the data where we can compare. So we are still researching into it to know whether this one is more intense than the 2004 one.
What a worrying development. In fact, let's stay a bit further on this, go on to the telephone. And Felicity, I'll come to you because we have at least some data that was put out earlier today, which we've been showing to our viewers. Let's go on to the telephone now, and the Chief Executive Officer of the Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Henry Kwabena Kokofu, is also joining us on the telephone. Dr. Kokofu, thank you for your time on Ghana Tonight. Now, have you seen the details of this report that indicates that our air is unhealthy and we have dust, soot, dirt, smoke, and liquid droplets at high density in the air that we are breathing?
Yes, I'm aware. I'm fully aware, and for that matter, Environmental Protection Agency, we are aware. We had a cause to call the media for an interaction and try to disseminate the information to the public. We did so by calling on sister institutions, relevant to the issue at stake. And here, I'm okay to mention Ghana Health Service representative, and then also a representative from the Ghana Meteorological Authority. They were with us at EPA to address the press and to enumerate and explain, and then answer two questions that participants put to us. Yeah.
I see. What are the specific measures that you are adopting in response to the details of this report?
Well, before we put up or we put forward any measures, mitigating measures, it was important to situate the causes, the drivers of this situation. You may recall that run up to the 2022 Christmas festivities, somewhere late in November, the Environmental Protection Agency had a cause to call for media interactions, and authorities explain as a natural phenomenon, or if you like, force majeure. That is the blowing of sandstorm over the Sahel or the Sahara region,
right,
across the nation, with the northern sector of the nation and the transition zone being the heavily affected areas. We at the down south are also experiencing what we are seeing today. So besides the natural phenomenon, we do also know that there are practices, human activities that are culminating into or culminating to the pollution of the atmosphere, thereby causing poor quality air for ourselves. And the ensuing health implications have been explained to the people. So the measures that we need to take and adapt. One, we have got to go back to the wear of the mask. That's the masking up. It is very, very important at this moment. Two, more indoor activities must be encouraged and less outdoor activities. Then again, those of us who are heavily vulnerable, I mean those who have respiratory diseases like asthma and others, must be on the lookout and must avoid dusty areas, emission areas where smoke and dust get combined. That again will also mean citizens refrain from most of our activities and actions that pollute the air, particularly the indiscriminate burning of materials, including electronic waste, including household food.
That's where I was coming to. I mean, we know this, the electronic waste pollution and other human activity that has polluted our air or environment for a long time. I mean, this report is only coming to confirm what EPA, you know. So I'm wondering why we did not take these measures you're talking about way before this report comes in to only tell us this detail.
Well, when it comes to the management of the air or the atmospheric ecosystem, it is not a day's wonder. So we can easily say a systemic failure over a long period of time with these activities going on, and then society, and for that matter, regulations are not working. Regulators are somehow a bit handicapped. One, due to citizens' attitude. Two, due to unawareness or, if you like, ignorance of what we have on our hands. Let us put it in context. The electronic waste situation, we had Aboblushi being a hub of this pollution enclave. And we all sat through and sat down for over more than 3 decades with these activities going on. It was just recently, 2018 coming,
right,
when the President of the Republic, by his marching orders,
right,
asked the regional minister and ourselves to get to work. And thanks to God, we've been able to eradicate that canker from the middle of our city. And that is a plus. Two, we need to consolidate on that game and make sure that every cranny, nook and cranny, where people are engaging in other forms of burning, including the use of used ties to clean, to whatever, roast animals, and then also burning these used ties for wires and all that.
Thank you.
As regulators, we have been on the heels of those perpetrators. However,
right.
We haven't
so I think that point well made. And look, the coming days we'll see what happens. But you know exactly what to do, EPA, really. But Felicity, how long is this weather going to persist from your own forecast?
Climatologically, we are expecting it over the southern sector by maximum by middle of March to end. And then for those of us over the north, we are expecting it that by March ending into April, it's likely to end over there. But then we are still expecting another outburst. But in terms of the wind direction, concentration is not possible to come down to us over the southern sector, but mostly it directs itself towards the European continent and then the American continent around April, May into June. But then those over the upper east, the northeast, the upper west, they are likely to still have some traces of dust particles around this time. But for us, gradually we are heading towards the hot season. After this dust has settled and everything is done and we are okay, then we'll have another battle to this, which is the high temperatures during the afternoon and then the nighttime temperature. So we are monitoring to see whether it's going to be normal or slightly above normal. So the seasonal forecast is working, and we are hoping that by 10th of March, the forecast will be ready, where we all know how the rainfall will be, how the temperature regions will also be. So,
Felicity, thank you very much. She is the Chief Forecaster at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Thank you to you as well, Dr. Kwabena Kokofu, Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA. Well, there's a few things that happened today at the vetting of some minister nominees. Take a look at this briefly.
Weeks ago, the President announced names of nominees for ministerial appointment. The vetting commenced this morning at 10 o'clock, immediately after this press statement. We in the minority wish to state it clear that we will remain committed to ensuring greater scrutiny and will spare no effort to proceed to protect the public purse. In line with this, we are taking part in the vetting processes so that at the very minimum, we can scrutinize the President's decision in the NDC, stand united with our number of 136 for this expedition.
The leader there, Dr. Kesela Toforsin. So the process continues tomorrow. Stay with us and we'll bring you a lot more coverage on it. On behalf of the rest of the team, we appreciate your company as always. And thank you for staying with us on Ghana Tonight. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.